come on, man. It's not worth losing your head over. I mean, for God's sakes, grow up a little bit, will you? Hello and welcome to NerdTaku. I'm the host of the universe. I'm a nerd and I also like my anime. Well, this is a revisit, re-review, whatever you want to call it. And for good reasons, I think I owe an apology to Princess Mononoke. But at the same time, some of my opinions didn't change for the film either. So it's a bit hard to say, but it's like I want to be nice to the film, but at the same time, I must, as a critic, be truthful in my opinion. And the one thing that kinda throws me off with this film is the message and the whole story behind it, which is save the Earth. Jeepers creepers, I thought that this was the whole message behind Power Rangers Wild Force, who always declared that they were guardians of the universe, and united they roar. I don't know, maybe Hayao Miyazaki saw Power Rangers Wild Force and was inspired by the same idea because Mononoke came out at the same time as Wild Force, so your guess is as good as mine. Just hear me out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not trying to say that you can't do an environmental message. I'm not even saying that, if you want to save the Earth, then by all means do so. I'm not trying to say that you can't do that. If that's something that you want to do, go for it. More power to you. It's just, in some TV shows and movies that have the whole, we must save the Earth message, I think that Captain Planet and Power Rangers Wild Force did it better than the film today. Speaking of which, I think it's about due time that we started talking about this, don't you? Well, there's a lot to cover, and definitely there's a lot to talk about with this film, and hopefully I can get across it in due time, and as best as I can, too. Much as I hate to say it, let's grab our wolf friends and dive right in. This is Princess Mononoke. Wish me luck, because, again, there's a lot to talk about. We begin our story with a long explanation by the narrator about the forest and also the forest gods.
Forests were destroyed. Those that remained were guarded by gigantic beasts who owed their allegiance to the great forest spirit. For those were the days of gods.
It was in the first minute I hate this film. Because it does the tell, don't show motif, and that I really hate in films, especially animated films. The forest gods are dying. The forest is dying. We can see the forest is technically dying. Where's the forest gods in all of this? Oh, we see them later in the film, but we don't get to see the other ones that were mentioned in this film? No. Basically, just do kind of like the comics saying, if you don't show it, just mention that it happened, and the readers will believe you. Fuck you and your bullshit. After that thrilling introduction, we're introduced into the opening title, and also introduced to our main character, Ashitaka, riding on top of his reindeer. Ashitaka goes to the village elder to try to figure out what's going on and what's coming their way. And the village elder tells him it's nothing of animal nature, so that makes him worried. And right the fuck out of nowhere, it turns out it's a motherfucking demon. Really? Really, Miyazaki? Ashitaka does manage to fight off the beast, but not before getting a little bit injured himself and also technically becoming a demon, as he kills it, and it turns out the boar wasn't the demon the whole time. This is one of the forest gods, a boar, that will kind of be mentioned later, and how he died is the most hilarious part of this movie. He died because he was shot by an iron bullet or ball. Wait a fucking second. I haven't been in a goddamn science class since frickin' 2015. That was a long time ago. But correct me if I'm wrong, iron is a natural occurring element in the world. We mine for iron and we use it for certain things. So, pretty much, in a sense, iron is basically supposed to be a naturally occurring element in the world, right? Because we also get stuff like silver and gold, which are naturally occurring elements. And also, technically, they are a metal. So how can something made of earth hurt something made of earth? Wrap your head around that. Oh yes, Hayao Miyazaki, beautiful storytelling. Despite the fact that you fucked up what you were trying to compress with your story, but you get a thumbs up for effort. Anywho, Achitaka and his reindeer Yakko have to leave the town, and they must go and find somewhere else to live. Bunch of dicks. Where he finds out that a town known as Iron Town is under attack. So what does he do? The most awesome thing ever.
What's happening to me? A demon.
And you wonder why Disney never bought this one up. Why not? Children would love to cosplay as Ashitaka, and they would love to try that prank with their friends, now wouldn't they? In all seriousness, if you have kids or if kids are watching this, do not attempt that, and do not try to do that, please. Also, why are children watching my videos whenever that I stated that they aren't for children? Mostly because I swear, and I review anime and movies like that one. So, yeah. But yeah, this is the reason why this was never brought up by Disney, because it's pretty violent. But maybe Disney made the right choice with this, so go figure. So after Ashitaka's great escape, he ends up meeting Billy Bob Thornton. Yes, I know he has a name, but to me, this is Billy Bob Thornton because he's voiced by Billy Bob Thornton. So Billy Bob ends up telling Ashitaka that the forest used to be good and kind and whatnot. That is until things have happened before, including his own village now being in shambles. But why is that?
And nobody cares. So you say you're under a curse? Well, so what? So's the whole damn world.
So yes, because the forest gods are upset, or because something's interrupting the forest, this makes the forest god and the forest around them react very weirdly, which we'll soon see why later. Anyways, we soon see the supposed forest react violently against these people. No, I'm not kidding. The wolves suddenly attacked the Lady of Irontown and her people because of what they're doing. Again, that we'll talk about later. After the event, Ashitaka brings back a few people back to their beloved Irontown, which Irontown we kinda need to talk about because, well, this place is actually kind of fascinating. For example, the men are the lesser known category and the women are the upper categories, where in our history, that would be reversed where men would overpower women. Also, in this, women are higher paid, they have the best job, and what's more, they can take whatever breaks that they want in between of working at their jobs and flirt with other men, even if they're married. So, Ashitaka tries to talk with the Lady of Irontown. I think her name is Lady Shibuya, and she's voiced, I'm pretty certain, by the talented Minnie Driver, who I would not want to pick on for this film. We find out why exactly the animals are upset with Irontown. Because they're mining and making iron. Yeah, you heard me right. And what's more, she's using the iron to make guns and weapons. So this is the entire reason why the whole entire forest hates Irontown. Yeah. Look at all the pretty colors. Really, Miyazaki? Really? Really? The making weapon thing is also in this film, too? Look, I'll admit, weapons are bad. They cause mass destruction and they lose and the loss of lives everywhere, and there's a means of utter destruction in some areas, but really, Hayao Miyazaki? Really? Anyway, we soon meet our other main character, Sen. And yeah, this is where Chihiro comes into play because she shares the same name. But while she's an interesting character, there's nothing else about her. Oh, we'll get her backstory later, but more or less she's just known as the Wolf Princess, or the girl that talks to wolves, or Chichiha Pachaka, whatever that you want to call her. But Sen, or the Wolf Princess, ends up trying to kill Lady Shibuya, and ends up becoming destroyed herself, meaning that she had to be saved by Achitaka. And even though they see Achitaka bend a sword like it's made out of plastic, they still decide that they were gonna try and kill him. Really, people? If I saw someone do that, I'd run the opposite direction. He ends up knocking out Lady Shibuya and ends up taking Sen into the forest where she can be saved, which leads into a pretty dramatic shot. He gets shot right through the chest and still walks. What a man. You may as well just quote George of the Jungle by this point. Don't worry, nobody really dies. They just get really big boo-boos. And that's what exactly happened to Achitaka. So Achitaka manages to save Sen. She's upset that he saved her, but more or less she ends up paying his life back because of, well, the life debt thing. So she brings him to the realm of the forest god, which looks straight out of Avatar, doesn't it? And wants to try to heal him by asking the forest god to. But we see this mighty forest god in his Nightwalker form, which is kind of cool of a concept for a villain, that he's both the savior and also the villain at the same time. Kind of cool to see. And also, yes, this film is one of the gorgeous films I've ever seen. But to quote the mighty Stan Lee, a good artwork can't make a bad story better, and bad artwork, but a good story can't make it better. I know that's comic books, but it still fits here. Great animation does not make the story any more better. While you can say, "Look at the pretty colors," everybody else is going, "Cool. Where's the story? What left is there for you to tell me?" But also, Billy Bob is there because he's a hunter, going to take the forest god's head. Okay, we'll come back to this later. This is the forest god. Yes, you've seen this man before, even if you haven't seen Princess Mononoke. But anyways, he tells the mighty Ashitaka that he shall live as we go into a beautiful shot for the next morning. As Billy Bob finds out, war is coming for Irontown, and the worst way imaginable, as a bunch of boys are walking on, and so is Otoko, voiced by Keith David.
You lie! You must have begged the forest spirit to spare his life, but you did not beg for Nago, did you?
Nago was afraid to die. Now I too care.
If you think that wolf's voice sounds familiar, you'd be absolutely correct. That is Will Smith's wife herself, Jada Pinkett Smith. Maybe this is the reason why Will Smith slaps Chris Rock at the Oscars. That would make so much sense, in my opinion. Maybe Chris Rock was a fan of this movie, and Will Smith wasn't, so he just one-upped him and just smacked him right there on stage. He probably deserved it.
You mustn't eat him.
You are Moro's human child, aren't you? I have heard of you.
You're blind.
Stand back. I will not eat him.
They also told me that in order to get this role, I had to talk like Mufasa from The Lion King. Even though I look like Pumbaa. Seriously, does anybody understand what happened? I miss working on gargoyles. Please put me back on gargoyles.
This battle. That's just what the humans want.
I do not ask the help of the wolf tribe. Even if every one of us dies, it will be a battle the humans will never forget.
Also, I'm not joking. Wave your hand goodbye to Keith David, kiddies. 'Cause he is no longer in this anime after this point. He has another line or two, and then that's it. So, Lady Shibuya and Irondown prepare for war against the boars. And what happens later is an absolute bloodmess. And this is also where we get Sen's, or basically the Wolf Princess backstory. And oh my god, this is gonna be good.
When the forest dies, so does she.
You must set her free. She's not a wolf, she's human.
Silence, boy. How dare you speak to a god like that? I caught her human parents defiling my forest. They threw their baby at my feet as they ran away.
You heard that right. Moro, the wolf mother, saw two people defiling her forest throw a baby at her feet, and she decided, instead of eating it, I should raise it. What? I mean, it's maternal instinct to protect your child. That's what every mother and father does. Why would you throw your baby at the feet of this monster? Would you think it would do you good? Would you think you'd be alive? Apparently not, because according to Moro, they're dead, so maybe she ate them? I just... Why? Now, this next scene, oddly enough, is one of my favorites, but only because how it's put together. This is a battlefield. This is what's left of the boar and human war, but what makes it better is the music behind it. We've seen other movies that have done this, Saving Private Ryan, Full Metal Jacket, Black Hawk Down, that show just how brutal that war can be, and definitely Miyazaki wanted to get that point across. As also in a beautiful scene, we see Ashitaka try to save one of Sen's or Chan's wolf brethren, and the townspeople beat the guard just to save the wolf, which is kind of beautiful. As we see San trying to bring Otoko to the forest god, but because the poor guy's been shot to death and whatnot, he's not exactly feeling up to the challenge. What's worse is that the hunters are closing in to kill the forest god, and Ashitaka and San's other brethren are not too far behind, but they might arrive a little too late. And late they do, as Otoko is transformed into a demon because of the bullets, and Ashitaka and San's wolf brethren run to the rescue. Ashitaka does try his best to tell Lady Shibuya that she should turn back and that she's wrong and to just give up this foolishness and the hunt. But Lady Shibuya wants that head. As the forest god disappears, Moro and Otoko end up dead. That's two famous voice actors gone in just one scene. Oh, Miyazaki. So Billy Bob and Shibuya end up killing the mighty forest god. And what do you think happens next? Well, this. And it gets better. That's right. Without its head, the mighty forest god becomes a living embodiment of death. I'm so not kidding here, people. But Ashitaka convinces San that she is not a wolf. She is a human, and she must accept and become what she is as if they want to save the forest god. So as a measure of good faith, Ashitaka tells the residents of Irontown to get the hell out of there. What's coming is bad, and they will die if they don't move. So with death surrounding them, Ashitaka and San offer to give back the forest god his head, which in a kind of funny fashion, he takes his head back. So the forest ends up becoming alive again because the forest god died, I suppose. And yeah, the forest lives on, and so do the people who want to end up living with the forest in harmony. John and Ashitaka admit their love for one another, but they know that they can't be together. So John runs off, and Ashitaka just stands there and looking at her like a moron. And what's even better is that Lady Shibuya decides against her action to protect the forest. And, well, that was Spirited Away. That was almost Spirited Away. That was Princess Mononoke, and my God, while this film is absolutely beautiful to admire and look at, this film really sucks. Hey, look, if you like the film, good, and more power to you. But I just cannot stand this film. While yes, it is beautiful, the story behind it is incomprehensible and just really fucking dumb. And you know, in my second time watching this, I did try to enjoy this film for what it's worth. But sadly, I just couldn't. Well, that ends off another re-review because I wasn't happy with my review. So, why don't we revisit another one that I was kind of a little bit harsh on and maybe see if it can maybe reown itself. Until next time. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me at Twitter in the link down below. And remember that NerdTaku are awesome. And I'll see you next time when we talk about One Piece Film Gold.